Hi, I'm Ursula Collie at EMG Solicitors, and I've got with me Matthew Sigsworth from our litigation team, who's here to talk to us a bit about landlord and tenant matters that are relevant in this new coronavirus pandemic that we're having to deal with. So, Matthew, just starting right at the beginning, suppose I'm a landlord and I need to serve a notice seeking possession. I've heard that the format for this has changed. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, it has. So the Coronavirus Act 2020 has changed the notice provisions for most tenancies, including the most common tenancy in the private rented sector, which is the assured short-hold tenancy. And the notice period which a landlord needs to give for assured short-hold tenancies, and most other tenancies actually as well, has been extended from 2 months to 3 months. In terms of giving notice, our strong recommendation to landlords is that you use the standard forms on the gov.uk website, because they've now been changed to show that amended notice period of 3 months instead of 2.
Oh, that's helpful. Okay, so just moving on a stage, suppose I've got a tenant and I've already served notice and the period has expired. Can I go ahead and take that claim to court? Can I make a possession claim, or what's the situation?
Yeah, you can file a possession claim, but it's not going to go anywhere, because what the government have also done by changing the main court rules, the civil procedure rules, is that all possession proceedings have been paused. I mean, the legal word is stayed, but it's better to think of it as a pause. So there's a general pause in possession proceedings that's in place from the 27th of March 2020 until the end of June. Whether it's extended after that, we'll wait and see, but that's the current position.
Okay. And then moving on again to a further stage in the proceedings, suppose I'm the landlord and I already have an eviction order. Can that go ahead? Can I evict the tenant? Can I get the property back? Or is that going to be also prevented by the new Act and the new regulations?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Interestingly, this is an exception to the general pause in possession proceedings of 3 months to the end of June. So strictly speaking, you could continue to enforce the order that you've got and try to take back possession of the property, but the courts will be extremely sympathetic to your tenant if your tenant does what they're supposed to do in this situation and makes an application to court to suspend the warrant. So yes and no, it's going to be difficult is the short answer.
Yeah, understandably, perhaps. So I can see that might cause problems for landlords, because suppose I'm a landlord and I have a buy-to-let mortgage, for example, and the tenant isn't paying the rent, I can't get the tenant out. If I'm struggling to make monthly payments with the mortgage, where does that leave me, the landlord?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I mean, clearly, what's going on at the moment affects everyone, landlords and tenants. The general thrust of the changes that we've discussed already are to protect tenants who, through no fault of their own, often have been left in a position where they've lost their income and they can't pay rent. But you're quite right that this affects landlords badly as well. So the important thing to remember is that a buy-to-let mortgage is just like any other type of residential mortgage, in the sense that most lenders are making payment holidays of it's usually 3 months available to people who are borrowing. So our suggestion and recommendation to landlords is that you get in touch with your landlord if that is an issue for you, and most lenders will be prepared to give you that payment holiday.
So get in touch with the mortgage lender sooner rather than later is my guess, your advice, and there is help available. That's really, really helpful, Matthew. We already know that some of our clients are navigating these new rules, and of course, none of us quite know what the future holds in this respect. So any questions, please get in touch with us at EMG Solicitors. Thank you very much, Matthew.
Thank you.